Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This video is going to be doing my non-spoiler video review for Iron Man 3. Okay, great. So Iron Man 3 finally hit theaters. Pretty excited for the movie. Thought the trailers looked good for it. Plus, I like the first two Iron Man movies. Specifically, I'd have to say the first Iron Man movie was probably the better of the two. The second one had a lot of potential, but they didn't use Mickey Rourke's character, the Whiplash slash Crimson Dynamo character, very well. They definitely could have handled him, I would say, a lot better in the movie and made that movie quite a bit better from what it ended up actually being. Iron Man 3, for me, this will be a non-spoiler review, so I won't get too much into details, and I will do a more in-depth, detailed spoiler version for the movie, a review of that, where I talk about the exact decisions they made and things like that, but that won't be today. That'll be probably tomorrow or the next day when I get around to it. So for the non-spoiler version, I would say that this movie for me is somewhere between Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2. I think nothing will really outlive the original appeal of the scene where Tony Stark first wears the full modern Iron Man suit and fires that little missile at the tank and blows it up, and everything that happens at the end of Iron Man 1. Plus, I really liked the Iron Monger as a villain. For me, I thought he was great. Mickey Rourke's, combination villain, I thought was okay. In this movie, we get two main villains. We get the Mandarin, and we get Guy Pearce's character, who is basically the leader of AIM, which is kind of cool because we have not seen AIM in any of the Marvel movies thus far. So kind of interesting to see them finally include them in one of them, because they could definitely be in the Avengers or Cap or Iron Man. So it's nice to see them finally bring that group, that organization to the forefront in an Iron Man movie. Now, this could be the last Iron Man movie in which we see Gwyneth Paltrow and Robert Downey Jr. So, that being said, it kind of caps it off as a trilogy, and I'd say if people really like the first two, you kind of owe it to yourself to see the third one, as it's basically the end of that era of Iron Man. Now, what Marvel's going to do after this, I don't know. They could hire on someone else to play Tony Stark, which would be, Robert Downey Jr. does such a good job as playing Tony Stark, even in this one as well, just as good as the other two, that it would be really strange, and in the Avengers, it would be really strange to see them put somebody else in there. Now, they did it with the Incredible Hulk, taking out Edward Norton and putting in Mark Ruffalo for the Avengers. So I could definitely see them doing that again. That's probably what they will end up doing. However, this one to me feels pretty special because it's probably the last one. We also, in interviews, Downey said that he basically has had enough because he hurt his ankle during the filming of this movie. There's a lot of action scenes in this movie where Iron Man is actually not wearing his full get-up suit, or one of the suits, because he does have so many at this point. The armor that you see in the trailers and everything, the sort of the gold with the red, but it's primarily gold. That armor right there is the Mark 42. So we go from Mark 7 in the Avengers to 42. So he's made tons of armors in the meantime. Now this one, in terms of design, I've kind of mentioned before in the trailer and stuff, I do like the design of the Mark 42. I think it's pretty cool, but my favorite Iron Man design from the movies would have to be the Mark 7. I really like the way it's got the traps coming over, and it's just, to me, it's a really cool design. And also, to me, Iron Man suits should be primarily red always. Otherwise, you're looking at, like, what I feel is like if you've got some black and silver in there, that kind of stuff, you're talking War Machine. It looks too similar to that to me. And this other gold stuff with adding the gold on, same with Iron Man. Some of the different designs that he has there, because he doesn't just have one suit, he's got lots of them. Those ones, for me, I don't like particularly as much as the classic red, cherry red type color. So that's something right there, too. Pretty cool about the suit is that it can, this one, the Mark 42, can sort of be attached from distance, so he can kind of call it and it will come towards him and attach to his body in different sections and groups. So that's a new little, I want to say, feature of the new armor, which is pretty cool. But it doesn't feel like when you're watching him in the armor that it's as powerful as like some of the other armors that he has. There are a lot of other cool designs that he has, and he does use in the movie. I don't want to spoil too much, but the fight scene at the end is great. Some of the sequences in the middle are awesome too, very exciting. If there's only one downfall in terms of the action of this movie, it's that basically there's a lot of scenes where he's either just not in a suit, or he's fighting without a suit, or he's got half of a suit on. It's kind of weird. You can see how Downey actually hurt himself in some of the with his ankle there in some of the scenes, because there's a lot of different, like, moving without the suit on and all this different kind of stuff, and fighting and switching suits and different things, especially at the end. So you can definitely see how that would happen. Now, in terms of the action throughout some of the movie, I mean, there's a lot of downtime in the movie. Maybe a little bit too much. They might want to cut back on it a little bit, I would have to say, because it is pretty long. The movie's like 2 hours long, and they probably could cut out a solid 10 or 20 minutes out of it, and I think it might benefit from it, because it does stretch on a little bit long there throughout. Let's see. The movie takes itself about halfway seriously. So it starts out very serious, and in the end, it ends pretty seriously too. But there's some parts in the middle and things that really kind of make it, like, it never goes full retard. It goes half retard, never go full retard. So it's kind of like you kind of wish, as an adult watching it, you wish they would just go full retard, full, straight up serious, take it completely seriously. Have some awesome, exciting action scenes with things blowing up and everything like that, and it would make the stakes feel higher. The fact that they go that route, but then they draw it back a little bit and kind of have fun with it at the same time with the decisions they make in the movie, and obviously all of Downey's lines and everything as Tony Stark and Iron Man. It kind of, for me anyway, it kind of draws me back. Like, it kind of takes me out a little bit of the experience. It's like, oh yeah, I'm watching a movie, I forgot. Now, obviously, you're not going to watch Iron Man and ever think that this is totally realistic or anything. But kind of like the appeal of the Nolan Batman movies, where it takes itself 100% seriously. I thought that's what they were going to do with Iron Man 3, and for part of the movie it looks that way, and then they switch back to the whole jokey with the seriousness, and it's like, you can't really mix the two. You're either going all the way serious, or you're kind of not, and you can't really do both. And that's a problem of this movie for me, even though I do think it is a very good movie. So in terms of a score for Iron Man 3, I did enjoy it quite a bit. Like I said, I think it's probably maybe not quite as good as the first Iron Man, just because of the fact that Iron Man was new at that time. We had never seen it before. Now we're getting into the third one, so that kind of new appeal doesn't really apply anymore. Even when he's got new suits and stuff and new tricks and gadgets and things like that, it doesn't really have that that new feeling anymore. It's not novel now, because we've seen all kinds of different ones up until this point. Even though it is still cool, you still watch and say, wow, that's cool. There's a scene where Iron Man is saving people falling out of a plane, and he has them grab each other, and then he charges their arms so that they can't drop each other, and then he kind of drops them in the water, which is a really, really cool scene. Definitely like that a lot. And there's a lot of cool little nitpicks here and there, but overall, I would say, or cool little scenes here and there, but overall, I would say that they probably should have gone the full seriousness approach, and really gone that way, even with the villains, with the Mandarin and Guy Pearce's character, and it probably would have made the movie even better. I'll expand on that more in my spoiler version. Just don't want to give away too much while I'm doing this review, and I don't think I have so far. Anything I've said, you can basically determine from the trailers anyway. So to go over and give it a score, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Thought it was a really good movie. It's there's a few little changes would have made it great. A few little things for me would have just made it awesome, but they tried to appeal, I think, to a lot of different audiences. So they, like people like me that love that serious, darker type of story, it appeals to me somewhat, and then it also appeals to people who like that lighter-hearted type of action and comedy mixed in, and just fun that we had in the Avengers and some of the other Iron Man movies. Even though I would say this isn't quite on the scale of the Avengers, because you don't have all those other characters. Part of the movie you're expecting like one of the Avengers to just pop in and help out Tony, but that never happens. They don't have a cameo or anything like that in the movie. So yeah, for me, Iron Man 3, not a disappointment at all. Really good movie, a lot of fun. If you like the first two, you definitely got to see it. And the fact that it could be Downey's last Iron Man movie, and Gwyneth Paltrow's last Iron Man movie, makes it even more important. Makes the ending very touching, I would have to say, because we may not see it again. Who knows if they'll even put him in Avengers 2? Maybe they won't. If that is the case, then this movie will definitely stick out as a very touching one. In terms of the villains and how they handled them, the Mandarin is supposed to be Iron Man's arch nemesis, and definitely throughout part of the movie at the beginning, you really feel that way. He's really scary, everything like that. And I just say the decision that they made with him, you know, to kind of not go all the way, you know, for that terrorist type of character, kind of half measure. I wish they would have gone all the way and just really, you know, used him to that capacity because he's the Mandarin. He's Iron Man's arch nemesis, so he could have definitely been handled better. I'd say probably the best villain from any of the Iron Man movies after watching Iron Man 3 would probably have to be, for me, the Ironmonger. So the other two, you know, or the other two movies, they were okay, but the Ironmonger for me was probably the best. Mandarin could have been, but they just decided not to go that route. So a good movie. I enjoyed it very much. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Anyone who hasn't seen it yet, you're probably going to want to avoid the comments because there could be some spoilers in there. And anyone who's seen it yet wants to hear what my thoughts are more in detail, I will have a more detailed review coming within the next couple days with spoilers so that I can talk about all the things I'm trying to dance around in this review. So Iron Man for me, Iron Man 3 gets a 7.5, and I think it is the second best Iron Man movie we've seen so far. Definitely not a disappointment, and definitely something that people should go check out. It's just a lot of fun. It's interesting. There are some darker elements to it, which is good, and then there's the lighter elements too, so it can appeal to pretty much everybody. So Iron Man 3, a good movie, 7.5 out of 10 from Trev. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. Please subscribe if you haven't. This is Trev. Saying peace.